All right, moving on to his counterpart over at second base there. His fellow Las Vegas boy, his former roommate, which I always thought was like cool, but at the same time weird.
Why is that weird?
That Bryson wants to live with Bryce and his wife and like young baby at the time.
And they weren't that close.
Like, you're making money, man. Go get an apartment in the city. Go have some fun.
Like, I love the fact that Bryce took him under his wing and he looked up to him growing up.
And that's cool,
and like,
but if
everybody wants to be like Bryce. But I think it'd be less weird if it wasn't Bryce and his entire family. Like, if it was just Bryce and he's like, oh, sure, I'll take a roommate. But, like, you're going to move in with Bryce.
So I think the story is
everyone.
Bryce's mom taught. It's either Bryce's mom taught Bryson or Bryson's mom taught Bryce.
Yeah.
So the families have known each other for a little while. So they go way back.
But like, it's still a little odd because you can just live nearby.
Yeah.
And like, let's just hang out more often and grab lunch and stuff and be
live
cool.
in the city and
we don't have to be together.
But anyway, let's get to Bryson Stott's grades. I was this close to giving him an A+.
Wow, Miss Honey.
I mean, when you look at his stats and the fact that he was a Gold Glove defending second baseman who came up as a shortstop is miraculous. He exceeded every expectation I had for him this year. I thought he gave you the best at-bats on the team. I thought he played the best defense on the team. And when you look at his numbers from year to year, the jump he had was unbelievable. He excelled in every area of the game. He rose his batting average by nearly 40 points. His OPS jumped nearly 100 points. His home runs and RBIs rose. This is perhaps the most wild stat for Bryson Stott. His stolen bases nearly tripled, while his caught stolen bases decreased by 1. That is a credit to the coaching staff and also a credit to Bryson Stott. To triple your stolen bases and decrease your amount of times caught stealing is incredible. Really close to an A+ for me. I would give him on the upper side of that A range. So what's that, 95, 96? I think Bryson Stott gets an A. What say you, Renee?
You know.
How hard are you going to be?
In true fashion, I've got to be consistent, okay? I'm that teacher that you have to. I'm not Miss Trunchbull. I am the teacher that you have to just work a little bit harder for a grade for, okay? Gosh. So I was almost Mrs. Castellanos. Not really. Thank you, Mickey, for that reminder. Papa Stott, flawless in a lot of areas, as you talk about. 78 runs, having 15 home runs this season. Looking at the fact, as you talk about, the increases in so many stats. Also on the fielding side, leads the league in a number of categories, top 5 for some areas such as assists, putouts. Was fantastic, definitely.
One of the 3
and he
Gold
better
Glove
win the Gold Glove. I agree with you, Mickey. I'm gonna give him an A- though, because it's the full season, and it's not just the moments we loved Bryson Stott.
That's the only thing that kept him from an A+.
It's also the moments. It's all the moments, especially in the playoff. There was a stretch there. Let's not forget, we were wondering, when is Bryson Stott going to make a hit? When is Bryson Stott going to show up? He did show up finally by the end of the series in the NLCS, but Bryson Stott had a little dip off. There was some drop off there, and I love the fact that Bryson Stott is a Gold Glove contender and all these great stats that you talk about. But part of my rubric for, yes, I'm guessing I'm a negative Nelly over here, is clutchness and performance in big moments as well as consistency. And postseason to me is a clutch moment that you need all your heavy hitters hitting the ball, and Bryson Stott at times was not doing that. So unfortunately, I can't give him an A or an A+. The A- is strictly because come playoff time, there were a couple, and even on the fielding side, some missed passes, some missed plays, as well as some at-bats that just were not good. So it was not ideal. Thank you. MBD is agreeing with me. The postseason NLDS and NLCS was not ideal. His postseason numbers, and I'll just run through it really quickly before Tyler jumps in here. You look at his 46 at-bats in the postseason. He scored 5 runs. He had 11 hits, 14 strikeouts. Not great. I mean, he had almost half his strikeouts let me see what I got here. Yeah, not good. It's just not good numbers. So I'm going to go with the fact that the postseason and the most clutch moment, Bryson Stott was not Stotty too hot. He was Stotty kind of warm at times. So Tyler,
what do you say?
He's gonna go with you.
You are one of the harshest graders I've ever seen.
It's the whole season.
What did this guy do poorly this year?
The postseason.
Yes, I agree. The postseason was not strong. However, that probably bumps me from an A+ to an A. This guy played a brand new position, moved across the diamond, and all he did was become a Gold Glove finalist. Now, I don't think he's going to win this year, but I do think that he's going to be in consideration for quite some time. A career high in home runs, a 280 average, and like Jamie talked about, that 31 stolen bases. What intrigues me even more than the number, the sheer quantity of stolen bases, is the fact that he was successful on 91% of his attempts.
He decreased his caught stealing. How do you do that?
Incredible, right? So I don't believe he wins the Gold Glove this year, but I do believe he's in contention.
Kim's going to win that
for probably the next decade in terms of doing that. And I've been saying this all year, and Jamie, you know how many times I say this
you
a
think
week.
He's going to win
He's going to win a batting title at some point. I think the 280 rises to 320 at some point in his career, and with the way that numbers have kind of decreased, 320, unless you're Luis Arraez, is a pretty formidable number to win a batting title. This guy gets an A in my book. I think that he was the first half MVP of the season, and quite frankly, if you were to say, who was the Phillies MVP throughout the course of the year,
I made the case he was.
It's Bryson Stott and it's Zach Wheeler.
Yeah, I think there's a very good case to make that he was the team's MVP this year. Renee continues to be a tough grader. We'll see what she does next with Trey Turner, because Trey Turner was a polarizing figure this year.